It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Force. I'm David Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Forgive us, we both sound a little stuffed up.
It's going to be super nasally. I'm going to try to sound, hopefully I'll try to talk without using a whole lot of in sounds.
Right.
I don't know. It's going to be hard.
Thanks for joining us as we dive into an all-new month here at Inside the Force. We wrapped a pretty big month in August with KooCast, where we talked a lot about Star Wars, the card game. If you're into the game or if you want to get into the game, check those podcasts out. It's actually basically 8 podcasts.
Yeah.
We mashed up with KooCast and talked about the games and the different affiliations, as well as on this show, Inside the Force.
Yeah.
So
kind of spawned a subsidiary podcast of the two, I guess.
Yes. Coming sometime.
Whenever.
Yeah, whenever. We'll fill you in on that when that happens. So back at it, just us two for this month of September. Now, we talked about this for a while ago. We're going to piggyback a little bit off of DC Comics this month. If you're in the comics or you're reading comics, DC is basically running their entire line of September with the advertisement of Villains Month. Basically, they're a 52 line that they do every month. In September, they're doing basically one-shots of 52 different villains, which is pretty incredible. So if you want to just go to the shop or go online and buy a digital copy of it, you can read about one-shot issues of Joker.
Yeah. A lot of villains
Luther.
You haven't seen yet that I've been waiting to see, like Zod and Bizarro.
Bizarro, Parasite.
Yes, yeah.
I'm just looking at a list of them right now. You got Reverse Flash, Count Vertigo.
The Creeper, which you rarely even see to begin with.
Black Adam, Deadshot.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Darkseid, Secret Society, and Lobo, which is a big...
Lobo. I do like Lobo. I like him.
So... yeah, check that out. You can go to DC Comics online and .com online, and then buy digital issues or go to your shop, pick them up every week. They're running that. So what we're going to do on this show, at first we were like, well, we'll have our own Villains Month. But after talking it out, we're going to do Sith Month.
Right. And
we are going to follow the lineage of the Rule 2, in a sense, from Plagueis, basically through Tyrannus.
Yep.
Leading into Vader, obviously. We won't do Vader because that story is told in the movies.
Watch the movies.
But 4 weeks here. We're going to do Plagueis this week. We're going to do Sidious next week. Then we're going to do Darth Maul 3rd week, and then Darth Tyrannus the 4th week. And if you don't know those Darths, it's basically Plagueis, who will reveal his real name here, if you didn't know. And then Sidious obviously is Palpatine, Darth Maul is Darth Maul, and then Count Dooku is Darth Tyrannus. So we'll kind of do that lineage this month and kind of explore what they did leading up to basically taking over the galaxy in episode 3, basically. So first up, and then of course we will knock out some news, do some trivia, and set you up for next week. And then I do want to preview real fast in October. What we've kind of already got it planned out too. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit, not complete mashup. We're going to have our own kind of show, and what we're going to talk about on Inside the Force in October is basically the Clone Wars. Because season 5 of the Clone Wars is getting released that month.
Right.
The original trilogy as well as the prequels are getting re-released on Blu-ray and DVDs. They haven't been...
The combo pack,
The combo pack. They haven't had a combo pack yet for them. So in celebration of the movies and whatnot, we are going to be talking about Clone Wars and highlighting people from the Clone Wars.
Okay, right.
we are actually mashing, in a sense, with Popular Fanatics, another podcast on the 21 Network. We are basically going to show up on Fanatics and talk about a movie. The first week, I think we're going to talk about episode 4. Second week, episode 5. Episode 6, the third week. And then we're going to talk about the prequels, in a sense. Because Chad is not a big fan of the prequels.
So he doesn't want to talk a whole lot about
Correct.
that, probably.
I think you're going to spend one episode or two.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. So that's kind of looking ahead till October. We're going to talk about mainly the movies and the TV stuff, the Clone Wars stuff. So, all right, let's dive right in. Darth Plagueis, born. He was born Higo Damask.
Cool name.
Cool name. So, and everybody kind of was, I don't know if everybody's wondering. I was kind of wondering. I didn't know if he was human or not because he's mentioned in episode 3.
Yeah, you just kind of assume these people are human.
Right. Yeah. Even Maul is not, he's not human, but he's got human characteristics in a sense. But he is not. He is actually a Mun. And a Mun is, if you, mainly in episode 2, when Dooku's sitting around the table with all the separatists,
right?
The guy that says, the banking clan will sign your treaty. Yeah. He is a Mun.
Yeah.
Those guys are basically running the intergalactic banking clan.
Yeah, they got the long, kind of thin heads.
And they're very tall.
Yeah. Like gray looking guys.
Yes. Yeah. Very tall, very big guys. Very slender, very thin. But they control the banking clan. They basically run financially the entire half the galaxy is what the banking clan does.
All these organizations, like the banking clan, the Trade Federation, like these big corporations, but they're all corrupt in a sense.
They are.
It's weird.
Yes, and they're corrupted. They're corrupted internally.
Yeah.
And then of course, what we find out in the movies is that a lot of it has to do with Sidious.
Yeah.
Who is a political figure himself.
Yeah.
So, diving in to Higo Damask, when he was born between, it's not exact, but he was born somewhere between 147 and 120 BBY. And he was born on his homeworld, Megiddo. And he was the son of basically the magister of the Damask Holdings, Car Damask, right?
Right, yeah.
And here's where we'll get right into the Sith thing. Here's where he was targeted from the beginning, in a sense.
Right. Yeah.
So at the time, of course, the rule of 2 is still being passed down since Darth Bane, which we highlighted in episode 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Long time ago.
So episode 2, we talked about Darth Bane, who created the Sith rule of 2, which is only a master and apprentice would be around, and they would plot behind the scenes in order to take over the galaxy, rule the galaxy. So at this point, when he is born, or actually before he is born, the Dark Lord of the Sith at the time his real name was Rugus Gnome.
Lame. He should change it.
He should.
To
Darth Tenebros. And he apparently, I guess he's the only one at the time, right?
It sounds, I would like it, yeah.
Yeah. So Tenebros at the time, running around as a renowned starship designer, by chance meets up with Car Damask, who is, like we said, head of the he was a middle agent at the time. He was a middle-ranking banking clan agent, but he was head of Damask Holdings, which was basically their fortune. Mm-hmm. So now here's the thing: is where Tenebros basically felt that Car Damask was force sensitive.
Yeah,
he was a force sensitive Mun. So Tenebros' master plan, in a sense, explain kind of what his midi-chlorian thing was going on.
This is weird. I've never heard of this. I guess this is only special to Tenebros, but apparently Darth, everybody has midi-chlorians in their, I guess, bloodstream or whatever, on their cells or whatever. And there's Darth Tenebris has this thing called it's like a retrovirus. It's some sort of special virus or whatever that he injected himself with. And when he injected himself, it fused to some of his midichlorians, turning them into maxichlorians. And apparently it's just, I guess it gives him the ability to then send out, I guess, these so-called maxichlorians out from his body into another person's body. Basically, possesses someone else. Like basically through the midichlorians, he can possess someone else now. And so basically, this is what we'll get into it later. Darth Tenebris injects himself with this, and with the retrovirus, it fuses to his midichlorians, and then turning them into maxichlorians, allowing him to possess someone else if he wishes. And then, but this comes at a cost, where as soon as the retrovirus clings to these midichlorian cells, he loses his precognition abilities. He loses his foresight. Yeah. So whenever midichlorians come in contact with the retrovirus, that's Sith or Jedi, whatever, will lose their foresight ability. So that'll come into play later. But yeah, so just know that he has these. He basically invented a new type of midichlorian called a maxichlorian.
Right.
Yeah.
And so his master plan with this is to obviously stay alive.
Right.
Pass his essence into another being, and another being, and another being.
Yeah.
In the end, with hopes of passing into the chosen one.
Yeah.
Whoever that might be. Obviously, he doesn't know, and plus he can't even foresee it now.
Yeah. Right.
So his ultimate plan after meeting Car Damask, and then also running into a female Mun that was force sensitive, he basically manipulated them into bearing a child who was Higo Damask, Darth Plagueis. So at the time, basically his vision, or not his vision, I guess I shouldn't say that word because he can't have really vision, but his plan was to create a more force sensitive child.
Right.
Therefore, passing his essence into him, and then continuing on after that.
Because it said, because Tenebris is a Bith. If you guys don't know what a Bith is, basically think of the band in the Cantina. Those guys, they're Biths. So Tenebris is a Bith, and apparently it says here they have some sort of special science where Tenebris can use the science to calculate the odds that this force-sensitive Muns, this male and this female, their offspring will be a super strong force-sensitive being. And excuse me for my voice, but yeah. So so he used that
to manipulate them.
Yeah,
right. So as soon as so in exchange for this son, he promised Car a higher ranking, and that's what basically moved him up to being head of the banking clan.
Yeah.
So it was 5 years after he was born, basically, the Dark Lord got Higo and started training him immediately as his apprentice. Because it was weird, because basically Car, director, he was appointed director of the banking clan. His wife suddenly disappeared.
She bounced
without a trace.
Yep.
And that was basically it. So then it came to training him, and they trained him as and they had what was called basically almost a. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. That was Plagueis and Sidious. So anyway, they trained. They did missions together. Trying to maneuver the Sith and whatnot into stretch the darkness of the dark side throughout the galaxy. Now through this, though, as he was training, Tenebros actually took another apprentice.
Right.
Unbeknownst to Plagueis.
Right.
Who eventually took the name Darth Plagueis. And it was Darth Venomous, I think, right?
Yes, I think it's another Bith, or I think is what.
Was it another Bith? I
think so.
Yeah. So he was training Venomous as and sending her out on basically missions. I mean, it seems like this is kind of a reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
We've heard this before with basically Darth Maul.
Yeah.
There was a book prior to episode 1 talked about his missions to either change things, end things, spread the dark side. But no one could. There was no witnesses ever, so no one knew about it.
Yeah, that's weird. Like not necessarily an official apprentice or whatever.
Correct.
I don't know. It's weird.
And they're not even technically a Sith.
It's like an intern or something like that.
Yeah, but they give them red lightsabers.
Yeah.
And then you heard, and the same thing happened with Starkiller, who we talk about a lot. That's what Vader was doing with him.
Yeah.
In a sense where there was an overall different plan for him, but he was sending him out on missions as well and basically wiping out all witnesses.
Yeah.
So, in the essence, this was what was happening with Tenebros. It was sending out Venomous out to do his missions as he was training Plagueis still. Plagueis had no idea about Venomous. And it still had no idea when it came to basically time to kill Tenebros. So, as we know in the Rule of Two, whenever the Sith, either the Master or the Apprentice, feels that they are far superior, it seems like they, at least what I always understood, that they were always kind of finding that next apprentice.
Yeah.
And, basically the Master would say, okay, I found a stronger apprentice, I kill you, and then here's my second one. Or the apprentice says, I found a good apprentice, I'm more stronger than you now. He kills the Master, becomes the Master, and then has his apprentice.
It's always like to an unwritten or like a undisclosed, like, okay, now we're going to fight for the mantle kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah. It's always like spur of the moment.
And they all know it's going to come to that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, it says 67 years before the Battle of the Yavin. So roughly, at this time, Tenebros is almost, it doesn't say, but he could be between...
Yeah. It's weird.
Like between 80 and 40 years old.
If you created it, just write down a birth date.
I know.
It's not like
I know.
real life.
So they... now, do you remember what they're going on a mission?
Yeah, I don't...
To survey something.
They're going to a planet where they found some cortosis deposits. And cortosis, if you're big in the expanded universe, is a type of metal where, as far as I know, it has effects on lightsabers. Like lightsabers can't cut through it, and it actually turns off as soon as it hits this metal. I don't know exactly what these guys were... it doesn't say specifically why they're mining it. I have to read the book for that, but... They're going to this planet that has a lot of cortosis deposits in there, and I think they're doing something with that.
Now, as they were there, they're on it seems like they're on a very unstable planet.
Yeah.
So, basically, as they were, it says they were running through caverns as stuff was falling behind them at some point.
So I think like gas explosions. Like
gas explosions going on, yeah. Because they're also trying to avoid the inhabitants of the planet as well. So they're trying to be there in secret. So anyway, they're going through and all this stuff that's happening, following them around them. Well, this is where Plagueis feels like, he actually gets a vision or gets a premonition that this is the time.
Yeah.
This is the time where I'm supposed to kill him.
Right.
So he basically throws stuff. Stuff
it's so weird
onto him, crushing him in a sense. But as well, it's falling on the ship, their ship, that gets covered and basically kills Tenebros by breaking his neck.
Yeah.
But this is where things take a little bit of a turn. Because as Casey explained about the Maxichlorians, he was able, because Plagueis was injured, Tenebros was able to send his essence through the wound into Plagueis. So by doing this, he's trying to possess his body, take over his body in a sense. But he saw, because he was in Plagueis' cells, he was able to use his power of foresight.
Right.
Which saw Plagueis getting killed by his apprentice.
Yeah.
Who we all know later is Darth Sidious. But it was funny because he couldn't see his face. He just saw him as what was called the shadow.
Yeah.
So he saw Plagueis getting killed, therefore being like, yeah, this ain't going to work. And eventually leaves, his essence kind of leaves his body and gets stuck in the caves.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
But, like you said, now Plagueis is infected with this virus.
Yeah, because as soon as he got inside of Plagueis, like it infected him.
It infected him, therefore taking away his ability of foresight.
Right.
So Plagueis doesn't have the ability of foresight now. And eventually he fights his way and kind of works his way off the planet by basically hijacking, not hijacking, but stowawaying onto a ship with a bunch of crew members. Eventually takes all their lives as he gets to where he's trying to go. Right. Has trouble manipulating the midichlorians because we forgot about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess his specific ability, Plagueis is to. I mean, we know basically from episode 3, he has ability to manipulate the midichlorians to. Now, Sidious says to create life. He kind of fabricated some things to manipulate Anakin, all that stuff, but. Basically, Plagueis has the ability to manipulate the midichlorians to sustain his own life. And he can, I guess
cheat death, in a sense.
Cheat death, yes. I guess he basically absorbs their midichlorians and uses that to just heal himself or just keep his body going. Yeah.
Well, because if you think about it, the more midichlorians you have, the longer you live.
Yeah, it's just the stronger you are in the Force.
Yoda lives for 900 years.
Yeah, that could also be his alien.
Right.
But just kind of the midichlorians, you're stronger in the Force.
But he had the most midichlorians.
Yeah, you could just do more things. You could just be awesome, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think if Vader would have not lost his limbs, he would have probably lived the longest.
Probably.
But yeah, you're right. I think that's what it was he was stealing taking midichlorians from his deceased victims.
Yeah.
Therefore, increasing his midichlorian count. Therefore,
I guess it just prevents your body from decaying or whatever, because he eventually does die. We all know Sidious kills him. For episode, and it says this episode
keeps your
3.
cells,
keeps
your cells younger or stronger in a sense.
It's interesting in the KOTOR games, as I was telling you before the show. If you guys played KOTOR 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2, there's a character, one of the villains, and that is Darth Sion, who's one of the Sith Lords. He's basically like a zombie. He can he just uses the Force to hold his body together and keep it going, to where even if you stab him, whatever, he can just still live because he uses the Force. So I guess it's a similar principle, but actually using the midichlorians to just preserve your own body. It's really strange.
So after this, obviously he gets off the planet and does all this. He eventually discovers Darth Venomous.
Right.
The secret apprentice of Tenebros. So there's obviously another battle between Venomous, because Venomous actually seeks him out because he knew about Plagueis, and so they come in contact, fight. Obviously, they say it's a short but fierce duel, but Plagueis kills Venomous, and it's weird, but he doesn't kill him by lightsaber. As he's on his knees, Venomous that is, he offered to be Plagueis' apprentice, but Plagueis had other plans and basically forced Venomous to poison himself.
Right. Weird.
Yeah, weird. By ingesting a coma bloom. So now, here's the thing, and I think this was the reason, was because by poisoning that he's not striking her, or I keep wanting to call her. I keep thinking of no, it's
just
him.
Because of the other forces.
I keep thinking of Ventress or something like that.
Yeah.
But so instead of because by striking him he would leave scars or possibly cut off a body part. So by poisoning, because he wanted to save the body to experiment on.
Right.
Basically, Venomous became his midichlorian experiment test subject. So in order to dive more into, because he wasn't just into taking midichlorians from everybody, he really wanted to learn what the purpose of these things were. Not just in the Force side, but just why? I mean, he wanted to know the reasoning behind everything, which is weird for a Sith, I think. But he was very, meticulous about wanting to know, because eventually you can read, like, he has diaries apparently that he obviously leaves behind him after his death.
So I wonder if the book of the Sith thing that's out that you can buy it right now, that might have some of like his like comments kind of like etched in there.
Yeah, because he basically, and I'll just kind of go over this, is very, very deep in a sense, but he thought there was, the Force basically was broken up into 3 categories. The Eperon, which is the equivalent to the unifying force, the Anima, which is equivalent to the living force, and the Summa, which is a conscious thought as expressed in the Force. So he just really broke it down, not just midichlorians in the Force and midichlorians in your cells. I mean, he even went further in trying to break up the Force into 3 different categories and figure out what each midichlorian had to do with each force, each phase. I mean, it was just unbelievable how much study he was trying to do, and that's what he was doing with his victims. Was trying to just study the midichlorians, understand how to make them, how to create them, how to just do whatever again. And that's in essence where Sidious got all this knowledge of it to manipulate Anakin in a sense. Because he knew, I guess, Plagueis was doing this when they finally got together. But there's a lot. I mean, he even went to. It says he even went to Korriban, which is the Sith homeworld,
right? Yeah,
and tried to find out answers from old Sith holocrons and old Sith temples. Never really found anything. Eventually had a vision with an old Sith, Mark Ragnos.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Yeah, and then, but he didn't get any answers from him, and he kind of claimed that Plagueis was dismantling the thoughts of the Korribans, the Sith Korribans, the early. But of course, he wasn't. He was trying to just understand life and death and all that stuff with the play. So. It's very weird to hear a Sith actually doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus just trying to rule the galaxy. So, leading into, after all that, so basically after the death of Darth Venomous, he is for sure the only Sith. Now, here's the thing, which was cool, as you pointed out. After investigating Venomous's ship, he saw that Venomous was keeping his eye out on several Force-sensitive troublemakers as potential apprentices for him. So, in order to make sure he's the only one, Plagueis actually takes that list and basically sets out and eliminates all of those potential apprentices. So, after being the sole Dark Lord, then we come into contact with his first apprentice, who is Palpatine and Darth Sidious. So, what else do we have? What else do we have on Plagueis that you want to point out?
I was just looking at some little things, and like I mentioned, like maybe his comments are in the Book of Sith, and they actually are. I'm looking here, and it says in the Book of Sith, Secrets of the Dark Side. You can go out and buy this book. It's basically just they have like a Jedi version too. It's like Path of the Jedi. But this is just some Sith teachings, and it has some manuscripts of the science of the Force that you were just talking about, where like Plagueis did all these studies, and his findings and his studies are apparently in this Book of Sith. And so if you actually want to read some of this stuff, it's pretty cool. I mean, you can buy this book, and I really want to get it anyways. And there's some stuff with Plagueis and Palpatine and all that stuff. But also, I'm just looking here. The first time he was mentioned was in the book Labyrinth of Evil, which came out right before Episode 5, led right into Episode 5. That book, Labyrinth of Evil. Really good book. And
Episode 5?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a 3.
3, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking 5. But, so that's pretty cool. And I was looking here. There's other little trivia things you can look at on, like, Wikipedia. But, because I was trying to figure out exactly when he was thought of. Because we were talking about this. Like, do you think Lucas had thought of Plagueis when he first created Palpatine, because we know how thorough he is on his characters and character backgrounds and all of that. And I'd be curious to know how early he had thought of the character of Plagueis and how much he talked to these, because sometimes he'll talk to these authors who are going to write these books. He'll just kind of approve of whatever, like, yeah, you can do that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know he doesn't really have a whole lot of hand in the books, but sometimes he'll whatever talk to like Timothy Zahn or something like that. But if he gave the go ahead on this Plagueis book that came out several years ago, then that'd be pretty cool, because I really want to see a movie with this guy.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
A young Palpatine, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of hold you in suspense a little bit. So the first encounter, all we'll say is that that Plagueis in 65 BBY, under his public name, obviously, of Higo Damask, because at this point he has inherited the Damask holdings, and he is now in charge. Well, I don't think he's in charge of the banking clan, but he is Higo Damask, basically in charge of his family fortune. So he travels to Naboo as himself at 65 BBY, because at the time there was an election going on, and Palpatine's father, Kasinga Palpatine, was running against another candidate, Bon Tapalo, and they were running, I guess, for senator, and they were talking about, at the time there was a big debate whether or not Naboo would actually be part of the Galactic Republic or stand kind of independent in a sense.
Right.
So I guess and we'll get more into this next week, but each candidate has their view on that. So Palpatine was the son of his father who was running. Higo Damask was backing the other guy, Tapalo, and they end up crossing paths, Palpatine and Damask, Plagueis. And we'll get into that next week when their first encounter and how it led to them getting together as Sith Lords. So next week we will dive into Darth Sidious.
Cliffhanger. Just like episode 5. Sorry, Joss Whedon. If you don't like it.
That's right.
Tough.
We like cliffhangers. But you don't have to wait 3 years. See?
Yeah, just wait a week.
1 week. So that's Darth Plagueis. You'll probably get a little bit more Darth Plagueis next week when we talk about him training Darth Sidious, but more about Palpatine and Sidious next week as we lead then into Darth Maul,
right?
Darth Tyrannus. So, what's next? News. We got a little bit of...
Actually, interesting week.
A little bit of news.
Yeah, a lot of rumors, but still interesting. I'll start off with some Clone Wars kind of stuff. All the bonus content that we've been promised for a while now, ever since we heard season it was canceled.
Well, and this is still rumor too, though.
It's still rumor, yeah. All the stuff that they had already done for season 6, we've been told we were going to get it as bonus content, some format coming up, and Dave Filoni has said this numerous times. Well, this is reported, it's a rumor, that Disney is planning to create a specific channel for the Apple TV. That it's basically like Apple TV. It works off apps. You plug in Apple TV to your TV. You access these apps, and apparently Disney already has several apps that they just created. And the rumor is they're going to create another channel, specifically for the Star Wars bonus content. Excuse me. So that's basically where we're going to get all this season 6 stuff. Will be through this Apple TV, exclusively through the Apple TV. And so if you don't have an Apple TV, you probably won't see it. Unless someone down the road will re-release it, something like that.
They have to release a disc or something.
Yeah. But starting off, apparently the rumor is we will get the bonus content on Apple TV. It doesn't say when. I think it'll be next year or this holiday season. That actually I think is what it might say. So I guess Christmas time. But then next year, through the same thing, through Apple TV, Disney will apparently release some, basically video journals like of Star Wars Episode 7 that we've seen on like the Hobbit movies or Superman Returns. Well, as soon as Episode 7 starts shooting, we will get some on-set bonus content through Apple TV again, which that sounds awesome to me. I really love that. So I got to get an Apple TV soon so I can get this stuff. And we'll also get some bonus stuff for Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
But I can imagine them not releasing them as an app as well on like your iPad or your iPhone.
That's what they haven't confirmed yet, so that might be true too. I would think so. That says down here that it doesn't say anything yet about Apple TV. I mean, iPad or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That means, no confirmation. So it's still up in the air. So I think, logic says it would happen too. Who knows? Who could say? We should know. So that's a little bit of news there for you. Hopefully it'd be cool if that is true. Who knows? So now talking, the rest of the news will be about specifically for Episode 7. Now this is something pretty interesting. Apparently John Williams, who we all know now is scoring the new trilogy, he did just a concert, I think, so recently, this past week. He did an interview where apparently he said, I don't know if he said to the whole crowd or not, actually, so it might not have been an interview. He said, John Williams, I'm going to play you some early Episode 7 stuff. The current title of this piece is The Scene Where Luke's Son is Decapitated. So there, obviously it sounds like it's a joke.
Yeah.
People are saying so maybe he's just playing off the fans' like eagerness to know things. So it's like, oh my gosh, is Luke's gonna have a son? Is he gonna be killed? Oh my gosh. If so, then that's very clever for old John Williams. But or did he slip? Did he slip something? Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, we shall know soon. But that's, a little bit of something. Now to some more interesting things. Rumor of people who possibly auditioned for Episode 7 roles. One of them was, it's rumored that, I can't remember how I pronounce this guy's name. Alex Pettifer, I think is how you say it. Alex Pettifer, who was in Magic Mike, I Am Number 4.
Yeah.
This guy, apparently he auditioned to be in Episode 7, which I can believe that. I mean, he's actually my age, this guy. But taller, better looking, and more fit than me. So he has a better chance of being in Episode 7. And apparently, I would totally believe that he auditioned for it. And it says also this actress who was in the Peter Pan movie back in 2003. So that's the only thing that they say about her. Apparently, just some other actors who auditioned for it. I don't know why it's like they're saying this is a rumor, because it's not necessarily a big deal. I don't know why they wouldn't just come out and say it. But again, it also says like Ryan Gosling was approached to play as like Luke Skywalker's son. That whole thing again. Apparently he declined it or whatever, so whatever. But the biggest news that actually came out this past Monday was, I've been reading too this past week that Disney is going to release very soon a big casting announcement of Episode 7. So, and it's coming from like Latino Review and all this stuff. So maybe, who knows, maybe by the time you listen to this, maybe this would already be confirmed or not. So the rumor, though, that came out this past Monday was that Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be cast in Episode 7. And I guess it's kind of likely, because he's worked with Abrams with Star Trek, but it's saying also that it's likely because Cumberbatch was cast in some, I think it was Guillermo del Toro movie, right. Something like that. He dropped out of that movie. And the rumor is because he did that so he could be in Star Wars. And some more details is that he's going to be a villain, most likely a Sith, and all of that will span all 3 movies. I guess that would make more sense why he would drop out of Guillermo del Toro's movie. But that's basically all it is. I mean, some news sources or some of the big guys have been denying to confirm or anything, like just denying the rumor at all. But people are saying like, "Oh, that doesn't mean it's not true because they're secretive, whatever." So, who knows? I mean, I think it would be first of all, it'd be great because I think he's awesome. He's a great actor, so he'd be a good villain, I know. But according to this rumor, I think it could be true. I think there's some grounds for that.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be true. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of Abram guys.
Probably, yeah.
At first, maybe. But that's definitely sounds like a realistic.
Yeah, it'd be cool
casting.
if Bruce Greenwood would be in Episode 7. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's something. I mean, yeah. So I just wanted some confirmations on some things because we've been getting rumors like the characters and all that stuff, and it stinks. I just want something concrete.
Yeah. Eventually, we will have that stuff.
Yeah, I hope by the end of the year we'll have something.
Especially if they start shooting in the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that's basically it. That's all we got for it. Maybe by the time you listen to this, maybe something will have changed.
Confirmed,
but as of now, those are the rumors. That's what's happening with Star Wars. Oh, and Yoda Chronicles.
Oh, yeah. Wednesday. This Wednesday, the 3rd. No.
2nd.
No.
Right. Well,
4th.
Well, they're counting the ones.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about September 4th.
Oh, September 4th.
Wednesday.
Okay.
They will debut another Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is technically the 4th.
The 4th Lego Star Wars.
4th Lego Star Wars special.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 or 4 of those.
Of the Yoda ones?
Totals, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So that's basically the episode. We are still doing some trivia. Corey, who was on the show last month, went 3-1. We currently stand. I'm 13-10. Casey is 14-9. Through that's 23 episodes. Yeah, 23 episodes because this is 24th. All right. Next question from Obsessed with Star Wars is 332, which is an early.
Episode 1, kind of.
Maybe. I think it might be episode.
Two?
Actually, it is 330. It is episode 1.
Great.
332. All right, here we go. Phantom Menace error. How are pod racers' engines connected to the cockpit?
Whoa. Okay.
332. So, how are pod racers' engines connected to the cockpit? A. Steelton control cables. B. Steel beams. C. A web of plastisteel cables. Or D. Durasteel chains.
Heck, I feel like all pod racers are different. I thought they were all made differently. I don't know if there was like a overall way. 332. Steel ton control cables. A web of let's see. B is steel beams. Let's see, a web of plastisteel cables. Durasteel chains. Whoa. Gosh, stupid. It's a stupid question.
Yeah, it's a guess.
I mean, they have a picture here of a pod racer, but
yeah,
it's not gonna help.
No.
Well, okay, I mean, I guess that's what it is right there. That thing. I'm gonna say
is that Anakin's.
Yeah, but actually no, it's not Anakin's. That's looks like Sabola's. Maybe, but fart. I mean,
yeah,
it's either a cable beam or chains. Which one do you think it is? I'm gonna say either A or B for me. I want to say B.
You're going B?
Yeah, steel beams.
You're going steel beams.
Yeah. That's steel. Like, how's it spelled? Steel.
STEEL.
Okay.
Beams.
Another way of spelling it. Yeah. Steel beams.
How are pirates connected to the cockpit? I'm gonna go with C actually.
Okay.
A web of plastisteel cables because I think it's a cable.
Yeah.
So I was either going A or C.
I feel like I just feel like all pod racers are different.
Yeah, but I think they're all cables. Connected. So
okay.
Anyway,
we'll see.
So B, Casey's going B. I'm going C. I'll go C here. I'll press C see if that's right. Here we go. No, it is A.
I was thinking A or B.
I was thinking A or C. Dang it!
So it was steel ton control cables. Because I was looking at that picture and it looked like a big old beam, but
they're kind of loose. That's why I think it's a cable.
When Anakin's pod racer
gets detached,
detached, was that like a flipping over? That was the thing.
That's
that
the
was
cable.
The cable. Okay.
No, that yeah,
because it was his engine was flipping, wasn't it? Was his engine like kind of like going
when
crazy?
He was loose?
Yeah,
yeah. That was actually a deleted scene. that they put back in. And he used the magnet to get it and put it back on.
Yeah.
That was a cable. It looks like that's why I thought it was a cable, because it was kind of loose.
Yeah, weird.
So
That's a stupid question.
a web. I should have went with A. Dang it. I had that right. We would have been tied.
Yeah.
Instead, you're still up 1. Okay. So.
It's like soccer. This is crazy.
Yeah. All right. So that's the show for this week. We are part of the 21 Network. Check out 21network.com for all of our podcasts. You can listen to all the latest episodes right there on the website. You can listen to all of our past shows on InsideTheForce.com, where you can check out our Twitter account, where you can follow us at Inside the Force. You can subscribe to our RSS feed. Our iTunes link is right there as well. Or just listen to the episodes right there on the show. There's some banners there if you want to help support the show. Check out Her Universe, GoDaddy, Sideshow Collectibles, stuff like that. That'll help us. Superhero stuff. If you want the latest Star Wars t-shirts. Awesome. All good stuff there. I am D Cottingham21 on Twitter. Casey here is Kryptonian1138. Again, this is Sith Month on Inside the Force. We are going to dive into Darth Sidious next week.
Yep.
And we just, to kind of extend on the Rule of Two and the Siths.
Right.
All right, so it's September. Have a good month, everybody.
Yep.
For Casey Cooley.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Very good.
Good, yes.
Very good. Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
That's who we talked about. Next week, Darth Sidious. All right. Casey?
Yep, goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network, a collection of weekly podcasts. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.